Hello everyone, I am Karthik, lecturer of Royal Academy, Mangalore. So today I will discuss about number properties, chapter 5 in GMAT quantitative section. Before starting the lesson, some of the rules we have to study. So that is nothing but, so odd plus odd is always even. So odd plus odd is always even. Then even plus even is even only. Odd plus even is odd. Then odd into odd is always even odd. So even into even is even, odd into even is equal to even. This is the product rules, and this is the subtraction and addition rules. So you just see that here odd plus even is always odd, odd minus even is always odd. Here odd into odd is always even. You just remember this formula for further problems. This is required for number system, number properties problem. Okay, so just remember here even and here odd is nothing but, in subtraction and addition, odd plus even is always odd and odd minus even is always odd. Next, here in the product rules, odd into odd is always odd only, then remaining thing is even. So we'll study one by one problems on number system, number properties. So first problem, it is related to, so if each d, q are positive integer such that dq plus r is equal to 3, then what is the value of d? Okay, you have to determine the value of d with the help of these two statements. Two statement is given. So first statement, the number r by d is less than 0.66, and second statement, the integer q by r is less than 2. Two statement is given. So with the help of this two statement, you have to answer for the question. The question is, what is the value of d? Okay, so next the option is like this. The first statement alone you can answer for the question, and second statement alone you can answer for the question, that is option B. And third statement, both statement together you can answer for the question. And fourth one, each statement alone you can answer for the question. And fifth one, none of the above is nothing but not sufficient to answer for the question, that is fifth option. So we'll see. So what is given in the question? D, Q, R, all are positive integer. Then you have to satisfy the condition. This is satisfy the condition, dq plus r is equal to 3. So here possibility of questions we'll see. If dq is equal to 1, then r is equal to 2. Okay, why? Because final answer you should get the value is 3. So if dq is equal to 1, then d is equal to 1, q must be equal to 1, then r is equal to 2, then 2 plus 1 you will get 3 answer. Then in case dq is equal to 2, r is equal to 1, two possibility answer. So what happens here, you will get two possibilities. So that is nothing but, if d is equal to 1, then q is equal to 2. Why? Because dq is equal to 2. Okay, then r is equal to 1, 2 plus 1 is 3. So a second possibility, d is equal to 2, then q is equal to 1, then also it is possible. These are the two possibilities, most possibility answer. We'll see with the help of this statement how we can determine the how we can find out the value of d. So from the first statement, what does it tells? So r by d is less than 0.66. So 0.66 you can also write the fraction 2 by 3. So 2 by 3, the value should be, r by d ratio should be less than 2 by 3. So based on this statement, I will choose the value of r by d. So r by d I will choose, it should be less than 2 by 3, right? So that I will choose 1 by 2. So why? Because so r, d, q, r all are positive integer, so that 1 by 2 is nothing but 0.5. So I will choose, there is no fraction, I will directly choose as the number system, that is 1 by 2. 1 by 2 is nothing but 0.5. So r by d is the ratio of 1 by 2. 0.5 is less than 0.66. So I will choose 1 by 2. So from this case, r is equal to 1, then d is equal to 2. D is equal to 2. R is equal to 1 and D is equal to 2. From this expression. Okay, so you can easily tell what is the value of r from the first statement. You can easily tell what is the value of r from the first statement. Okay, so first statement alone is sufficient to answer for the question. Next, first, but further you just see the second statement. So second statement tells what? Q by R is less than 2, less than 2. So Q by R is not equal to 2, so less than 2. And also DQ R all are positive integer. So I will take Q by R is equal to, Q by R is equal to 1. 1 I will take. So what happens? Q is equal to R. It means that Q is equal to R. From the second statement you can tell that Q is equal to R. So Q and R 1. So what? Which condition? Q1, Q is equal to 1 and R is equal to 1. Then what is the value of D? Then what is the value of D? D is equal to 2. D is equal to 2. So it is also possible from the second statement also you can determine the value of D. Okay, D is equal to 2. So both each statement alone you can answer for the question. So option D is correct for the first problem. I hope all of you understood. So from the first statement also you can determine the value of D. From the second statement, so it is given Q by R is less than 2. So less than 2. So Q by R I will take as 1. Okay, Q by R I will take as 1. So that Q is equal to R. Q is equal to R. So then if it is Q is equal to R1, then the expression, final expression is what? DQ plus R is equal to 3. You have to determine the value of 3. So here R is 1, Q is 1. Then I have to multiply how much in order to get the value of 3? So I will multiply 2. 2 ones are 2 plus 1 is 3. So what is the value of D? D is equal to 2. So from the second statement also you can determine the value of D. So that is 2. So both each statement alone you can answer for the question. So option D is correct. Option D is correct for this problem. Second question. So if f and g are positive integer, f and g are positive integer, then each type of problem, whether it is f plus g divided by f an integer, so you have to determine the value of integer. This expression is an integer. So two statement is given, two statements. So first statement g is equal to 5f minus 4. Second statement f is equal to 1 by 3g. Okay, so two statement is given. So f and g are positive integer. F and G are positive integer. So from which statement alone you can answer for the question? Each type of question is nothing but yes or no type of question. The option is 5 option. Statement 1 alone is sufficient. Statement 2 is sufficient. Each statement together is sufficient. Both statement together is sufficient. Each statement alone you can answer like that question. Okay, so we'll see the statement 1 tells what? G is equal to 5f minus 4. Okay, so you just substitute this G value to the above expression. Okay, so f plus G, in place of G you just substitute first statement value, expression 5f minus 4 divided by f. Okay, so then 5f plus f, what happens? 6f minus 4 divided by f. Then 6f divided by f minus 4 divided by f. So this is split like this: 6f divided by f minus 4 divided by f. 4 divided by f. So here f gets cancel each other. Remaining thing is 6 minus 4 divided by f. Okay, so common denominator, that is actually common denominator, you split into 2. Okay, so you will get 6 minus 4 divided by f. So it tells that if the value of f should be a multiple of 4, in case if f is equal to 3, you will not get an integer. Integer is nothing but 1 2 3 4 5 6 like that. There is no fraction here. You will not get an integer if f is equal to 3. So if f is equal to 4, you will get an integer. So two different value you will get. So two different value you will get. So from the first statement alone, you can't answer for the question. Two different answer you are getting. One is no, one is yes. Two different answer you are getting. So based on the value of f. Okay, here f value is not mentioned, so that you can't determine the answer. Okay, go for the second statement. So in the second statement, what is telling? So f is equal to 1 by 3 g. Okay, you just substitute the value and rearranging this. So while rearranging, what happens? 3f is equal to g. 3f is equal to g. So from this you just substitute the value of g to the following expression. So what happens? 3f plus f is equal to 4f divided by f is equal to, you will get ff gets cancel each other. You directly get the answer as 4. From the second statement you will directly get the answer as 4. So from the second statement you can easily determine the value and tells whether this expression is an integer or not. So 4 is an integer, and also from the second expression you will directly get the value. So second is the correct answer. So option B is the correct answer for this problem. I hope all of you understood so how to solve this problem, everything. So we'll see the next type of problem. So if n is a positive integer, is square root of n by 3 an integer? So this is also is type of problems. Is nothing but yes or no type of question. Yes or no type of question. You have to answer whether it is yes, it is an integer, or no, with the help of this two statement. So then first we'll see the possibility answer. If n is equal to 9 into 1, so then square root of 9 is 3, square root of 9 is 3, and divided by 3 is 1. So 9 into 4, that is nothing but 36. So 36 is also possible. Square root of 36 is 6 divided by 3, that is you will get answer 2. Next 81, square root of 81 is 9. 9 divided by 3 is, you will get answer 3. So is these three, if you get the answer, then sure you will get an integer value only. Okay, then we'll see the statements. So what statement is given? And one more possibility. So here, in case if you get the value is 27, so 27 square root of 27 is nothing but you will get 9 3s are 27. Square root of 9 is 3, and square root of 3 divided by 3, so you will get not a fraction. You will get the fraction, so that it is not an integer. So only these value if you get, that is an integer. If you get this value, it is not an integer. Okay, so next we'll see the statements. So first statement, what is that first statement? Whole square root of n by 3 is an integer. Whole square root of n by 3 is an integer. This means that the n value should be 3x. So x is nothing but that should be a square root value, perfect square root value. Okay, perfect square root value. Then you can tell that. So first assume. Okay, so I will take x value is equal to 9. Okay, why? Because here first to satisfy the condition, here what is given? It should be integer. So I will take 9. Okay, so n value is how much? N is equal to 3x. So it is equal to what? 9 3s are 27. So 27 is possible. So 9 3s are 27, or else you can also write like this: 3 into 9 divided by 3. So 3 gets cancel each other. Square root of 9 is equal to 3. So 3 is an integer. Yes, first to satisfy the condition. Then same value, whatever value here you chosen, that you just substitute to here. Then find out whether it is an integer. Okay, so here you will get n value is equal to 27. You chosen 27. Here satisfy the condition. You will get the answer 3, so that it is an integer. Then here you just substitute 27 divided by 3 divided by 3. Whether it is an integer, you already derived 27, so it is not an integer. It is not an integer. So you can easily tell it is not an integer. So assume other number also. If you choose other number also, but the method you should follow same. So you have to choose n is equal to 3x only. Why? Because first to satisfy the condition is an integer. So I will take other number also, you will get the same answer. So not an integer only, not an integer only. If you take other number also, so just to take, just assume so 81. So x value is 81, x value is 81. Then n is equal to 81 divided by 81 into 3, 3x, right? 3x, right? Divided by 3 and whole square root. So 3 gets cancel each other. So square root of 81 is 9. So it is an integer? Yes. So first to satisfy the condition, a 9 is an integer. Then what happens? So here n you taken how much? N you taken is how much? 81 into 3, 81 into 3, that is the n value. Just a substitute here. That is also not possible. You will not get an integer, you will not get an integer. Okay, so to same value you are getting, so that is nothing but, again you just substitute to above equation. That is nothing but 81 into 3 divided by 3. So so here square root of 9, square root of 3 divided by 3. 3 ones are 3 threes are. So whether this has integer, this is also not integer. So if you you will get what value? So 3 square root of 3. So that is also not integer. Same value you are getting. So so from the first statement, it gives a good answer, sufficient information, information to answer for the question. Same answer you are getting. So from the first statement alone, you can answer for the question. Next, go for the second statement. Second statement tells that square root of 14n is not an integer. So if it is like this, you can choose any number, you can choose any number. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, any number you can choose. So it is not possible. So if you choose why? Because 14 twos are 28. Square root of 28 is not an integer. Okay, so here, so what happens? 2 divided by 3, square root of 2, it is also not an integer. Okay, next I will choose 14 into 4. 14 into 4 is not an integer. 14 into 4, it is also not an integer. So then that is nothing. 14 into 4 is how much you are getting? 64, I think so, or 52. Okay, it is also not an integer. But square root of 4 divided by 3, so is an integer. So like that. So here it is not possible. Why? Because you can choose any value, n, choose any value. Why? Because it is not an integer, right? So from the second statement alone, you can't answer for the question. So which option is correct? So you can see here from the second statement, you can square root of n, any number you can choose. So it is not possible. So option A is correct for this problem. Option A is correct for this problem. If it is given like this, you just eliminate. Why? Because n value you can choose any value. So lot of value you can choose. So easily you can eliminate this second statement. Second statement. Directly go for the first statement. Okay, first statement. I hope all of you understood. If you have any doubt regarding this, you please contact me. Next problem. Set S contains 5 integers. Set S contains 5 integer. So what is the 5 integer? A, B, C, D, E. So this is a 5 different labeled. Okay. So labeled set S contains 5 integer labeled A, B, C, D, E. If the sum of all the elements of set S is odd. how many of the element of set S is even. So you have to determine how many integers are even in the set. Okay, so how many are integer, and two statement is given. So from the which statement you can answer for the question, you have to determine. Okay, so first statement tells that the sum of A and B are odd. Sum of A and B is odd. Next, second statement tells that the product of B, C and D are odd. So from the first statement it tells that the sum of A and B is odd. So second statement, the product of B, C and D is odd. Okay, we'll see. So if the integer should be odd, then one integer or three integer, five odd integer should be there. Final answer, if you want to get the final answer is odd, final answer it got, then you should be maintain either one integer in the five whole set, or three integer you have to maintain, or five odd integer you have to maintain to get the final answer should be odd. Okay, that you just remember. Next statement, so two statement is given. This odd plus odd, odd plus odd is always, so what happens we'll see. So sum of says that sum of A plus B is odd. So you have to final answer, if you want to get the odd, then one must be even. Okay, odd plus even is always odd. I already told you have to remember that formula. Odd plus even is always odd. So that is nothing but odd. So even plus even is even only, even plus even is even only, or odd plus odd is even only. So only when, if one integer should be odd and one integer should be even, then only it is possible to get answer is odd. Okay, so one is even plus one is odd, then only you will get odd integer, otherwise it is not possible. One is even, one is odd, then only you will get the odd integer. So it is enough information is provided. Why? Because just they told that about A and B, but we don't know the value of remaining three. Okay, so remaining three is nothing but C, D, E. So we don't know the value. So first statement is insufficient. It is not possible to determine the value answer for the question. So question is, how many of the element of set S are integer, are even? So it is not possible. From the first statement alone it is not possible. Go for the second statement. So second statement tells that the product of B, C, D is odd. Okay, so product of B, C, D is odd. So in the product rule, so what is that? So product rules tells that, so odd into odd is always odd. Odd into odd is always odd only. That rules also you have to remember. Otherwise it is difficult to solve this type of problems. Odd into odd is always odd only. Okay, so here you can easily tells that three digits are odd, three integers are odd, but the remaining digits we don't know. So about A and E we don't know. We don't know about A and E from this statement. A and E we don't know. So what is that? So from the second statement also it is not possible to tells what is that. Okay, from the second statement also not give enough information to answer for the question, how many of the element in the set are even. That is also not possible. So club together, club these two information. So from the first statement you can tells that, so A and B are odd, so you can tells that one is odd in that two integer, one is odd, one is even, then only you will get the answer is odd. Okay, so second statement, B, C, D, three are odd, three numbers are odd. So three numbers is nothing but from the first statement. So consider B is odd. From the first statement, consider B is odd. Second statement, it is already given B is odd, C is odd, and D is odd. So remaining two are even. Remaining two are even. If you club together these two statements, you can easily tell that A and E are even. A and E are even, and and remaining three are odd. Remaining three are odd. Why? Because the final answer, if you want to get the odd integer, set s is odd only, the final answer is odd only, so you should get 1 3 or 5 odd integer. 1 3 5 is a odd integer. Why? Because a is already even. A is already even, so one more even is e only. So 3 is already over. 3 odd integer is already over, so 4 is not possible. Why? Because a is already even, that is already decided, and set s is odd only. The final answer you should get odd only. If you want to get final answer is odd, then either 1 is odd number in the set, either 3 is odd number, either 5 is a odd number. So 3 is already decided and 1 is even is there, then remaining 1 is even only. Remaining 1 is even only, then only you will get the final answer is odd. Then only you will get final answer is odd. So option C is correct. I hope all of you understood. So set S should be, so total 5 integer is there in the set, so the final answer is odd. If you want to get the final answer is odd, then you have to maintain either 1 3 or 5 odd integer. Okay, so here from the first statement confirm that 1 is even. 1 A is already even and B is odd, so one integer is already even. So second statement tells that total 3 odd integer, 3 odd integer. So it is already proved. So that is from the first statement B, second statement B, C, D, it's already even. So 4 odd integer is not possible in order to get the odd answer, so that 2 are even and 3 are odd integer. It is proved that. So that answer C is correct for this question. Next question. So if A and B are integer, if A and B are integer, so and A is odd and B is even, so you have to determine. So A and B are integer and A is odd, is B is an even. So is type of question, yes or no type of question. A is already odd and is B is an even, so two statement is given. A cube plus 1 into B is even and A square divided by B is equal to B minus 4. Two statement is given. So from the statement you have to determine whether it is yes or no. Okay, so from the first statement, tells that A cube must also be odd. Okay, A cube is must be odd only. So because odd, why? Because odd into even are, so odd into odd is always odd only. So A is odd. They told already A about A. So A is odd only. So odd into odd is odd only. Plus 1. Plus 1 is nothing but it is converting into even. Okay, converting into even. Next into B. So then in order to get even, so here it is even. Even into even is always even only. Okay, even into even is always even only. So then odd plus odd is always even, so even. Then what happens? So from the first statement, so here, this is odd, this is already odd. Okay, why? Because odd into odd is always odd. This is odd. Plus 1 is nothing but even. Okay, plus 1 is nothing but even. It becomes even. So then we don't know the value of B. So we don't know the value of B. So either it is odd or even. Okay, so either it is odd or even. So it is already even. Then even into odd. So even into odd, even into odd is always even. Okay, even into odd is always even, and even into even is also even only. Even into even is always even only. So we don't know whether B is even or odd. Okay, whether B is odd or even, we don't know. From the first statement alone, you can't judge whether B is an even or odd. Okay, I hope all of you understood. A is nothing but odd. So odd into odd into odd is nothing but odd only. Plus 1 is nothing but even. So even into odd is even only. So final you will get even from the first statement. So even into even is also even only. So then whether we don't know the value of B, so B may be odd or even. From the first statement alone you can't determine the value. So from the first statement alone you can't judge. Okay, next go for the second statement. Second statement, what does it tell? So a square divided by b is equal to b minus 4. So it just substitute cross multiply. A square is equal to b into b minus 4. Okay, so b square minus 4b. You will get final expression a square is equal to b square minus 4b. So you will get like this. There is no need to simplify further. Okay, so keep like this. So a square is nothing but a is already odd. Okay, odd into odd is always odd only. Then here left hand side is odd, then right hand side should get odd only. Right hand side also you should get odd only. Left hand side is odd. Odd is how to get odd? Odd into odd. A is odd. Odd into odd is always odd only. So then right hand side expression is what? B square minus 4ab. B square minus 4ab, that is nothing but so 4b. So because any even number times any other integer is always even only. Any other integer is even only. So that 4b must be even. 4 must be even in order to get odd integer. So here you already get that is a square is odd. So right hand side also you should maintain odd integer only. So this is odd only. This is odd only. So b square minus 4b. B square minus 4b. So how it will be even? So just consider times. Okay. So here I will consider b is odd. Okay, b is odd. So what happens? So finally you should get a odd integer, right? So I will consider b is odd. B is odd. Then so b into b, odd into odd is always odd only. So odd into odd is always odd only. Odd into odd is always odd only. So then 4 into odd, 4 into odd. So I will take 4 threes. So 3 is a odd number. You will get what is the answer? 12. So 12 is nothing but that is even number. That is even number. So that I will take here even. Okay, I will take here even. 4 into odd. So here I consider b is odd. So 4 into 3. 3 is even odd number. So that always the so odd integer into even integer you will get even only. Even I will consider here even. So odd minus even. So odd minus even is even only. Odd minus even is always odd only. Or even minus even is also what happens? Odd only. Okay, so here okay, so sorry, see here odd minus even is always odd only, then even minus even is always even only. So final answer you should get what? So final answer you should get odd. So that so you have to subtract from odd only. Odd minus even is odd only. So from the second case, from the second statement, you can easily tell that the value of b is odd. Okay, so you can answer no only, no only. Why? Because so left hand side equal to right hand side. Left hand side you will get a is odd into odd is always odd, so odd. So right hand side you should match, so that is also should be odd only. So I already taken b is equal to odd, or you just try for b is equal to even. So if you taken b is equal to even, then it is not get the equal. Left hand side is not equal to right hand side. So I will take b is equal to odd. So then odd into b square, odd into odd is always odd only, minus even. Odd minus even is always odd. Then even minus even is even. So you will not, you should get the odd in odd only, right hand side odd only. Why? Because left hand side is odd. You should maintain right hand side is also odd only, so that this is your correct answer. So b is equal to odd. So from the second statement you tells that the value of b is odd integer. So your answer is no. So b is correct answer. Statement b is correct. Next question. If m is an odd number and p is a prime number, which of the following must be odd? So m is a odd number, p is a prime number, which of the following must be odd? So just consider one odd number. So I will take m is equal to 1 and p prime number I will take 5. Okay, so just substitute the following expression and just see which of the following must be odd. So first expression mp. So m I will take 1 and p is equal to 5. Any number you can choose. M value should be odd number, p value should be prime number. Both are different. Same number should not take. Okay, so then what happens? 5. 5 also get, that is also odd number. Then just check for the remaining option also. So next here if you substitute same value m is equal to 1, p is equal to 5 for the second expression, you will get 6. So easily eliminate. Third expression you will get -4, eliminate. Fourth expression you will get 52, that also you can easily eliminate. Next last option you will get answer 11. So two odd integer you will get. First one is 5, second one is 11. Two number you are getting. Then again cross check it, take other number. So I will choose m is equal to 1, p is equal to 2. 2 is also prime number. So I will choose m is equal to 1, p is equal to 2. Then you will get for the first one you will get what? 6. So 6 is a even number, so eliminate. So answer E is correct. Okay, so likewise trial and error method you should follow to find out the answer. Option E is correct for this problem. Next question, if x minus y is equal to 8, which of the following must be true? So you have to see the statement. Okay, which of the following must be true? The option is like this: 1 is only, second is only, third is only, 1 and second and third. So how to determine this one? X minus y is equal to 8. So which of the following must be true? So statement is like this: both x and y are positive integer. If x is positive, y must be positive. If x is negative, y must be negative. Which must be true? You just determine. So from the second statement, directly go for the second statement. If x is equal to positive, x is positive, y must be positive. Okay, so consider the positive value, whether this is satisfied or not. So if x is positive, so I will final answer you should get 8 value. So I will choose uh, if x value is positive, y must be positive. Is it necessary? You have to determine. So I will choose x is 10, y is 2. So what happens? So 10 minus 2 is it. So if x is positive, y must be positive. So if it is negative, just to choose negative. So I will choose x is equal to 6, x is equal to 6, y is equal to minus 2. So minus minus, just see. So x is equal to 2. One minute, I will tell you in details. So in the second one, this one, we'll see this one. I will choose x is positive, x is equal to 2, x is equal to 10, y is equal to, y is also, y must be positive. Is it necessary? So y is equal to 4, y is equal to 2. So what happens? 10 minus 2, you will get answer is 8. You will get answer is 8. So is it necessary y must be positive? So I will choose x is equal to 10, x is equal to 6, y is equal to minus 2, y is equal to minus 2. So then also whether I am getting this answer 6 minus of 2. So that also you will get the answer. If x is positive, y is not necessary of positive integer only. If it is negative also, you will get the answer. So from the second statement is not correct. Okay, second statement is not correct. Why? Because if x is positive, here also I took 6, y must be positive is not necessary. If it is negative also, you will get the answer. Okay, so both x and y is positive. So I already told it is also not necessary. So if x is positive, y is, if it is y negative also possible. Next, go for the third option. So third option is what? If x is negative, y must be negative. So here just see x is negative, x is equal to minus 2. So x is minus 2, x is minus 2, y is also minus 10 only. If you take positive value, you will not get the answer is 8. Okay, you will not get the answer is 8. So I will choose x is equal to minus 2, y is equal to minus 10. Okay, x is negative and y must be negative only. If you choose x value is negative, then y value must be negative only, then only you will get the answer is 8. Why? Because minus into minus plus, so then only you will get the answer. So this statement is correct. If you choose here, if x value is negative, x is equal to minus 2, so it is not possible. If you should take y value must be negative only. If you choose positive value, then it further reduces only. If you choose 6, so minus 2 minus 6, what happens? Minus 8, you will get minus sign. So if you want to get 8, y must be negative only, y must be negative only. So answer C is correct. Answer C is nothing but third only is correct answer for this question. Next one, if b is not equal to 0 and minus 1 a by b, so a by b is false in between minus 1 to 1, which of the following is cannot be true? Which of the following cannot be true? You have to determine which of the following cannot be true. So we'll see one by one. So first one, so first statement tells what? A plus b is less than 0. So I will choose a is minus 1, b is equal to minus 2. So minus 1 minus 2 is minus 3. Minus 3 is less than 0. So satisfy the condition. Then same value I will apply to here. So a is how much? Minus 1. B is how much? Minus 2. So minus 1 divided by minus 2, minus minus cancel each other. You will get the answer 0.5. So 0.5 is false in between minus 1 to 1. So which of the following cannot be true? So it is true. So first statement is true. From the first statement is true. So here they are asking which cannot be true. Okay. Next, go for third option. Third option is what? So I will take a minus b is greater than 0. I will take a is 1 and b is minus 2. B is minus 2. So minus into minus plus. So 1 plus 3 1 plus 2 is 3. So 3 is greater than 0. First satisfy the condition. 3 is greater than 0. So then same value just apply here. So 1 divided by, so a I will took 1 and b is minus 2. 1 divided by minus 2 is 0.5. Minus 0.5. Minus 0.5 is false in between minus 1 to 1. So satisfy the condition. Next one. So a plus b into a minus b is less than 0. So that I will take a is equal to 1. A is equal to 1. B is equal to 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3. 1 minus 2 is minus 1. So what happens? 3 ones are minus 3. Minus 3 is less than 0. Satisfy the condition. And a I taken 1 and b is 2. So 1 by 2 you will get 0.5. So 0.5 is false in between minus 1 to 1. Okay. 0.5 is false in between -1 to 1. This will also satisfy the condition. Next, last one, a plus b is greater than 0. So I will take a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2. So 3 is greater than 0. So satisfy the condition. First satisfy the condition. Next apply to the following expression. So a is how much I taken? 1. B is 2. 1 by 2 is 0.5. 0.5 is false in between -1 to 1. So satisfy the condition. Next go for the second option. A plus b into a minus b is greater than 0. So first satisfy the condition a plus b. So I will take a is equal to 2, b is equal to 1. Then a is equal to 2, b is equal to -1. So what happens? 2 plus 1, 3. Okay, 2 minus 1, 1. So 3 is greater than 0. Yes or no? Yes, 3 is greater than 0. So then same value, a value I taken 2 and b value I taken 1. So you will answer 2. Okay, you will get answer is 2. So whether this 2 is false in between -1 to 1? So no. So it is not possible. So 2 divided by 1 is 2. So 2 is not false in between -1 to 1. So it is a cannot be true. So second statement is cannot be true as per the rules. You just go through it. I detailed explanation I given here. And if you just consider a is 1 and b is 2. So what happens? So 2 plus 1 3. 1 minus you will get the negative answer. So but you should get more than 0 answer. It is not possible. If you take ulta, is nothing but a is 1, b is 2. It is not possible. So this is the correct way. So second option is correct. So second option is cannot be true. Second option is cannot be true. Why? Because it is false outside this range -1 to 1. Next, is s minus t divided by st is less than 0? You have to determine. Okay, you have to determine is s minus t divided by st is less than 0. So two statement is given. So statement tells that t is 0, the t value is less than 0, s value is greater than 0. Next second statement, st divided by s minus t is less than -1, less than -1. So next, from the first statement, it tells that t value is less than -1, less than 0, s value is greater than 0. Okay, greater than 0. So from that you can determine. So I will take t value is equal to -1. Okay, t value is -1 and s value is +1. So what happens? +2. Okay, I will take +2. T is equal to -1. T is equal to -1 and s is equal to 2. So just substitute 2 minus of -1 divided by 2 into -1. How much you are getting? So you will get, always you should get, so above you will get the positive integer 3 divided by negative integer. Negative integer is always less than 0 only. So from the first statement you can easily tells that tells the answer yes only. Here yes only from the first statement. Why? Because positive number divided by negative number, positive number divided by negative number is always negative number only, less than 0 only. Positive number divided by negative number, so you will get positive number divided by negative number is always you will get negative number only. So it should be less than 0 only. So from the second statement tells that st divided by s minus t is less than -1. So if it is less than 1, it is the inversely proportional. If it is inversely proportional, reciprocal of the given expression is less than -1, whether a negative fraction written a by b or b by a, the fraction still negative only. So that if it is st divided by s minus t is negative, then s minus t divided by st is also negative only. So from the second statement also you can easily answer for the question. So option D is correct. Okay, option D is correct for this problem. So reciprocal of the given expression is less than -1. Okay, so st divided by s minus t is less than 1. It tells that s minus t divided by st is also -1 only. Okay, so option D is correct. Each statement alone you can answer for the question. Next question, if a certain number is divisible by 18 and 24, it must also be divisible by which of the following? Which of the following? So you have to determine. Better to take the common denominator, then you can easily determine the value. So 18 multiplication is 18, 36, 54, 72. So what is the question? It must also be divisible by which of the following? So one number that must be divisible by both the values. So which number you have to determine? Okay, so just to return the multiplication of 18. So 18 multiplication is 18, 36, 54 and 72. So 24 multiplication, 24, 48, 72. So 72 is a multiplication of 24 as well as 18. It is coming in both the numbers, so that 72 is the correct answer. 72 is the correct answer. Answer C is correct. Okay, so the question is like this: which of the number is exactly divisible by both the numbers? Both the number is 72. 72 is the exact answer. Next question, what is the greatest possible integer x such that 9 to the power of 6x is a factor of 81 10 to the power of 81 to the 10 to the power of 10 plus x. So how to determine this value? You have to determine the value of x. X must be integer. One is 9x, that is in left hand side. Right hand side is 81 10 to the power of 8 to the power of 81 to the power of 10 plus x. Okay, so how we can write 81? 81 is nothing but 9 square. 9 square is nothing but 81. So you can also write 81 as 9 to the power of 2. Okay, 9 to the power of 2. Okay, so once you write the 9 to the power of 2, you just multiply. Just multiply. What happens? 2 into 10, 20 plus 2x. Okay, 2x. That is nothing but 9 to the power of 20 plus 2x. 9 to the power of 20 plus 2x. So here 9 and 9 gets cancel each other. One side is 9 to the power of 6x. Second side is 9 to the power of 20 plus 2x. So here 9 gets cancel each other. Remaining term is 6x is equal to 20 plus 2x. 6x is equal to 20 plus 2x. So 6x minus 2x is 4x is equal to 20. So then remaining thing is what? 20 divided by 4 is nothing but 5. You will get the value of x is equal to 5. Option C is correct. I hope all of you understood. 81 also you can write the 9 square. So then multiply 2 tens are 20 plus 2x. Okay, then 9 cancel each other. Then remaining thing is 6x is equal to 20 plus 2x. You will get answer x is equal to 5. Option C is correct. Next, how many positive integer less than 70 are multiple of either 3 or 4 but not both? Okay, either 3 or 4. How many integer is present? How many integer is coming in between less than 70? The multiple of 3 or 4, not and or. 3 or 4 but not both. So how to determine this one? So this is a number. This much integer is false in between, false less than 70. It is a multiple of 3 or 4 but not 4. So just consider here like this. So this is the multiple of 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. You have to write like this, less than 70. So 69, till 69 it is coming, and multiplication of 4, multiplication of 4 is coming like this, till 68. So next after 68, 72. 72 is not false less than 70. Then just see which number is common here. Which number is common? So 12 is here, here also it is common. So it is nothing but the multiplication of 12 is coming in 3 as well as 12. Multiplication of 12. So 12 is nothing but 24. 24 is coming in 3. 24 is coming in 4 also. Next 36. 36 is coming in 3. 36 is coming in 4 also. Next 48 is coming here also, 48 coming in 3 also. Next 60 is coming here also, 60 is coming here also. Next, after this procedure, next just count, okay, how many integer is there. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So this is the correct answer. 30 is the correct answer. After eliminate the common number in the multiplication of 3 as well as 4, then you just count, you will get the exact number. That is nothing but 30. 30 is the exact number. Okay, multiplication of 3 and 4, that is 12 is a common multiplication number, that is common in both 3 as well as 4. You can easily eliminate and find out the answer. So option D is correct answer for this question. I hope all of you understood. Next question, if n is an integer such that n value is falls in between 12 to 24, is n is a prime number? You have to answer n is a prime number. N is a prime number. So two statement is given. So first statement tells that the remainder when n is divided by 4 is 1. Okay, so n is divided by 4, remainder is 1, that should be falls in between 12 to 24. 12 to 24. Second option, second this one, the remainder when n is divided by 6 is 1. Okay, that should be falls in between 12 to 24. So from the first statement, so the multiplication of 4 is falls in between 12 to 24. What are the multiplication? 12, 16, 20, 24. So these four number is falls in between 12 to 24. That is a multiplication of 4. Okay, along with that, remainder should be 1. The remainder should be 1. Then what is the value becomes? 12 becomes 13 and 16 becomes 17 and 20 becomes 21. Then 24 becomes 25. 25 is number is not there, so that only 3 digit is coming. 3 digit is coming. So here how many integers are prime number? So here 13 is a prime number, 17 is a prime number, 21 is a not a prime number. So 21 is exactly divisible by 4. So two integers are prime number. So here two values are coming. So n is a prime number, n is 2 value is coming. So from the first statement alone is not sufficient to answer for the question. Why? Because one more number is not a prime number. Is n is a prime number? So yes or no? Here two integers are prime number, one integer is not prime number. So different answer you are getting. So from the first statement alone is not sufficient to answer for the question. Next, go for the second option. So here three number you are getting that n is falls in between 12 to 24, but the out of 3, 2 are prime number, 1 is not a prime number. So this statement is not sufficient to answer for the question. Is n is a prime number? So 2 are prime number, 1 is not a prime number. So not sufficient to answer for the question from the first statement. Next, go for the second statement. So n should be divisible by 6. So divisible by 6, how many number is there? So 12 as well as 24, two number is there. So plus 1 is nothing but the remainder should be 1. Okay, so only one number is coming, 18. So 12 as well as 18. 12 as well as 18. 6 2 is 12 and 6 3 is 18. So two numbers are coming. So two number after addition of remainder, that number becomes what happens? 13 as well as 19. So 12 becomes 13, remainder 1. So 13 as well as 18 becomes 19. So 13 as well as 19. Both numbers are prime number. Prime number. So you can directly tell that you can answer for the question. So statement 2 alone you can answer for the question. So why? Because you will get the number 13 as well as 19. Both are prime number only. Okay. So from the second statement you can answer for the question. So option B is correct for the question. This question, option B is the correct answer. Next question, if x is equal to 12, y is equal to 35 and x square y square is equal to 21 into 28 into 30 into z, what is the value of z? You have to determine the value of z. So how to determine the value of z? This is the option, this is the value of z. So how to determine the value? So you should take the factors. So first expression x square and y square. X square is how much? X is equal to 12. To 12 square, you just take the factors of 12 square. You will get 2 into 2 into 3. So 2 into 2 into 3. So you will get like this. And the y is equal to 35. 35 square, you have to take the factors. So how to take the factor? One example I will give you. So 12. If it is 12, I will take factor like this. So 2 6 and 2 3 and 3 1s. So 2 into 2 into 3. This is the factors of 12. 2 into 2 into 3. So likewise you have to take factor for all the numbers. So 35 square is nothing but 5 into 5, 5 into 7 and 5 into 7. Next, so club together x square y square, you will get, you just club all factors 2 into 2 into 3, 2 into 2 into 3 and into 5 into 7, 5 into 7. So this is nothing but x square y square. Similarly 21 factor, you just take 21 factor, that is nothing but 3 into 7, and 28 factor 2 into 2 into 7, and 30 factor is 2 into 3 into 5. So all club together, then write like this. Okay, so this is not x square y square, this is nothing but 21 28 30, 28 and 30 factors, and you will get into z also, so into z also. X square y square, this is x square y square factors, and this is 21 into 28 into 30 factors. Into z also you just multiply, then all are gets cancel each other. Common factors you just cancel each other. Why? Because left hand side is equal to right hand side. Common factor you just cancel each other, and remaining two number is what? Remaining number is 2 into 5, that is remaining, that is equal to z. Z is equal to 2 into 5. So 2 into 5, you will get the answer of z. Z is equal to 10. 10 is the correct answer. Answer A is the option. Okay, I hope all of you understood. So first take the factors, and left hand side is equal to right hand side. So then you can easily cancel each other. The common factors you just cancel each other. Remaining term you will get 2 value, that is 2 as well as 5, and you just multiply, then you will get the value of z. Z is equal to 10. Next question, if a is equal to 5m plus 2 and b is equal to 5n plus 13, then and m and n are positive integer, what is the remainder when a plus b is divided by 5? So here what is the remainder? Remainder value is given. When a plus b is divided by 5. First you solve this equation. A is given, b is given. Okay, so just solve. So written like this, a plus b, then you will get one common term, that is nothing but remainder. Okay, starts with the a plus b. A is how much? A is 5m plus 2, b is 5n plus 13. So just club together, you will get what happens, 5m plus you will get final expression. Okay, you just club together 5m 13 plus 2, so 5m plus 5n plus 15, you will get 5m plus 5n plus 15 you will get. So a plus b, here common term is what? 5m plus 5n plus 15. Here common is 5. I take common outside, 5 is take common outside, then remaining is m plus n plus 3. So 15 divided by 5 is 3. So m plus n plus 3. Okay, then a plus b is divided by 5, then you can get the answer is m plus n plus 3. So m plus n plus 3 must be an integer only, m plus y, because m and n are positive integer. So positive integer plus 3 should be get integer only. So that a plus b is divided by 5. So what is the remainder? They told that remainder, here there is no remainder, it is exactly divisible. A plus b is exactly divisible by 5, so there is no remainder here. The answer is 0. So option A is correct answer. Answer is 0. Why? Because if you that a plus b is exactly divisible by 5, so there is no remainder, and also the integer, you will get the integer only. M and n are positive integer, plus 3 you will get integer only. So answer A is the correct answer. Thank you for watching this video, number properties. If you have any doubt regarding this, please approach me. Thank you. Oh, thank you one and all.